This show, along with hundreds of others from Calaroga Shark Media, is available commercial-free on any player. Just look for the link in the episode or show notes.
Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello and welcome to Romance Weekly. This episode is titled Paris, Passion and the Photographer, an Olympic Love Story, Part 1.
Lily, a 28-year-old American journalist, rushed through the bustling streets of Paris, her heart pounding with excitement as she made her way to cover the opening ceremony of the 2024 Games. The city was alive with energy, and Lily couldn't help but feel a sense of magic in the air. As she approached the metro station, she rummaged through her bag, searching for her press pass. Suddenly, she collided with a tall, handsome stranger, sending her papers and his camera equipment scattering across the pavement. "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," Lily exclaimed, kneeling down to gather her belongings. The man, with a charming British accent, chuckled and replied, "No worries, love. It's not every day I get swept off my feet by a beautiful woman." Lily looked up, meeting his sparkling blue eyes, and couldn't help but blush. "I'm Lily," she said, extending her hand. "Oliver," he replied, his warm smile sending a tingle down her spine. "Official photographer for the Games. And you are?" "Journalist. I'm covering the opening ceremony tonight." As they collected their items, their hands brushed against each other, igniting a spark between them. Oliver helped Lily to her feet, his touch lingering just a moment longer than necessary. "Well, Lily, it seems fate has brought us together," Oliver grinned. "Perhaps we should grab a coffee sometime, compare notes on the Games." Lily, captivated by his charm, was about to respond when her phone buzzed with an urgent message from her editor. "I'm so sorry, I have to run, but maybe I'll see you around?" "Count on it," Oliver winked, watching as Lily disappeared into the crowded metro station. Over the next few days, Lily immersed herself in the excitement of the Games, attending events and interviews, but her thoughts kept drifting back to the handsome British photographer. She couldn't shake the feeling that their meeting had been more than just a chance encounter. As she sat in a cozy Parisian cafe one afternoon, typing up her latest article, a familiar voice interrupted her thoughts. "Well, if it isn't the girl who swept me off my feet." Lily looked up to see Oliver standing before her, his camera hanging around his neck and a playful smirk on his face. "Oliver, what a surprise." "A happy one, I hope," he said, sliding into the seat across from her. "I've been hoping to run into you again." The waitress approached their table, a friendly smile on her face. "Bonjour, que puis-je vous servir aujourd'hui?" she asked in French. Lily replied easily, "Un café au lait pour moi, s'il vous plaît. Et pour vous, Oliver?" Oliver, looking a bit flustered, turned to Lily and said, "I'm afraid my French is a bit rusty. Could you help me out?" Lily grinned. "Of course. She's asking what we'd like to order." "Ah, in that case, I'll have an espresso, please," Oliver said, turning to the waitress. Lily translated, "Il prendra un espresso, s'il vous plaît." The waitress nodded. "Très bien. Je reviens tout de suite avec vos boissons." As she walked away, Oliver leaned in, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "So, you speak French fluently? I'm impressed." Lily shrugged. "I studied abroad in Paris during college. It was an amazing experience. What about you? Any hidden language talents?" Oliver chuckled. "Well, you might be surprised to know that I'm actually quite proficient in German." Lily raised an eyebrow. "Really? How come?" "My grandmother was German, and she insisted on teaching me when I was young. It's come in handy on a few photography assignments," Oliver explained. "Prove it," Lily challenged, a playful smile on her lips. Oliver cleared his throat and said, "Also Gott, hier geht's los. Ich finde dich unglaublich charmant und würde dich gerne besser kennenlernen." Lily laughed. "Okay, I believe you. What did you say?" "I said that I find you incredibly charming and I'd love to get to know you better," Oliver translated, his gaze holding hers. Lily felt her cheeks flush. Well, that's quite forward of you, Mr. Oliver. Life's too short for subtlety, don't you think? He winked. The waitress returned with their drinks, placing them on the table. Voici vos boissons. Profitez-en bien. Merci beaucoup, Lily replied before turning back to Oliver. So tell me more about your work as a photographer. What's been your favourite assignment so far? Oliver took a sip of his espresso. Well, there was this one time in Morocco. As they sipped their drinks and chatted, Lily found herself drawn to Oliver's wit, warmth and passion for photography. They laughed, flirted and shared stories, losing track of time in each other's company. Oliver regaled her with tales of his travels, from the vibrant markets of Istanbul to the serene landscapes of Iceland. Lily, in turn, shared her own adventures, recounting her experiences covering stories across the globe. You know, I've always admired journalists, Oliver said, his tone sincere. The way you chase the truth, give voice to the voiceless. It's incredibly noble. Lily smiled, touched by his words. And photographers like you capture moments that would otherwise be lost forever. You freeze time and emotion in a single frame. It's powerful. As their conversation flowed, Lily and Oliver discovered a shared love for classic films, indie music, and exploring off-the-beaten-path destinations. They bonded over their mutual wanderlust and their desire to make a difference in the world through their work. The waitress approached their table once more, a knowing smile on her face. Puis-je vous apporter autre chose? Un désert à partager, peut-être? Lily glanced at Oliver, a mischievous glint in her eye. What do you say? Shall we share a dessert? Oliver grinned. I thought you'd never ask. How about a classic crème brûlée? Lily nodded, turning to the waitress. Une crème brûlée pour nous, s'il vous plaît. As they awaited their dessert, Oliver reached across the table, his hand grazing Lily's. I have to say, this has been the most enjoyable afternoon I've had in a long time. Lily felt a flutter in her chest. Me too. I'm glad we ran into each other again. Their crème brûlée arrived, the caramelized sugar glistening under the cafe's warm lighting. They took turns savouring spoonfuls of the creamy dessert, their eyes locked in a flirtatious gaze. But just as their connection deepened, Lily's phone buzzed once more, a stark reminder of the obligations and challenges that lay ahead. She had a story to chase, and Oliver had his own mysterious past to contend with. Lily sighed, glancing at her phone. I'm so sorry, but I have to head out. My editor needs me to cover a last-minute press conference. Oliver nodded understandingly. Of course. Duty calls. As they settled the bill and gathered their belongings, Oliver pulled Lily close, his voice low and earnest. Lily, I know we've only just met, but there's something special about you. I don't want to let this slip away. Lily's heart raced. I feel the same way, Oliver, but we both have so much going on right now, with the games and our work. Then let's make a pact, Oliver suggested, his eyes holding hers. No matter how busy things get, we'll find time for each other, even if it's just a quick coffee or a stroll along the Seine. What do you say? Lily, caught up in the magic of the moment, nodded. I'd like that, very much. They exchanged numbers and a lingering hug, both reluctant to part ways. As Lily stepped out onto the bustling Parisian street, she couldn't help but wonder what the future held for her and Oliver. One thing was certain. Their serendipitous meeting had set the stage for a romance that would be tested by time, distance, and the challenges that lay ahead. But for now, Lily allowed herself to bask in the warmth of Oliver's smile and the promise of what could be. Little did they know their paths were destined to cross again, as the magic of Paris and the excitement of the games wove their lives together in ways they never could have imagined.
Romance Weekly is a production of Calaroga Shark Media. Executive producers Mark Francis and John McDermott. Portions of this podcast may have been created with the assistance of AI.
Calaroga Shark Media.